Awesome. Guys, this is going to be an epic battle. Who's going to win this fight? I'm going to give you guys my pick right away. I think Adesanya is going to win this fight. And let me tell you why. And I don't think it's an easy fight. Okay, I think obviously it's going to be a very hard fight. I think it's 55-45 Adesanya. Those are the odds I think this fight's going to look like. It's going to look like a 55-45. It's not going to be an easy fight. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, hey, Yoel Romero is Kelvin Gastelum plus. And Kelvin almost got the job done. Therefore, Yoel is going to win. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking along those lines. And it's true, the Kelvin Gastelum fight and the Adesanya Kelvin Gastelum fight was super close. It was neck and neck. It was such a tight fight. I don't know who was winning. Like until the end, I think Adesanya kind of ran away with it at the end. But I was on the edge of my seat. This was a seesaw battle. It was going back and forth. It could have been a Kelvin Gastelum night. It could have been. I understand you all. However, I think Kelvin Gastelum and Yoel Romero share a lot of qualities, but they're different in many ways. And Kelvin, I think, has more movement in him in the later rounds. In the total 5-round fight, in 25 minutes, I think Kelvin Gastelum is going to be busier than Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero is one of those guys where if you make a mistake, the fight is over. You're done. You're waking up asking what happened. He's that type of fighter. However, you know, he's very explosive, but also he has his dips. We all remember his first 2 rounds with Whitaker in the rematch, where we watched Yoel Romero do almost nothing for 10 minutes. Now, listen, I'm not trying to say anything negative. I think it was a great strategy for him. Something that was never done before. For those of you who didn't see the fight, he's fighting Robert Whitaker, rematch. And for the first 10 minutes, Yoel Romero literally does almost nothing but defend. Literally, I think he threw 5 strikes in 10 minutes. It was Whitaker round 1. It was Whitaker round 2. And everybody watching the fight, we're like, what is going on with Yoel Romero? Is he injured? Is he hurt? What's going on? He did nothing for 10 minutes. And then he turns it on and almost finishes the fight. For those of you who didn't see the fight, Whitaker wins by a very controversial split decision. Very, very controversial. I personally, after watching that fight, still wasn't sure who won. Incredible fight. One of the best fights, one of the best championship fights ever. You have to watch it. But what made it what made it so amazing is we were all mystified why Yoel was doing nothing for 10 minutes. And when I say nothing, guys, I'm not over exaggerating here. If you didn't see this fight, if you saw the fight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you didn't see this fight, go watch it because I'm not exaggerating. Now, why didn't Yoel attack in the first 10 minutes? Well, I think it's because he was pacing himself. That's the honest truth. He missed weight by 0.2 pounds that fight. If I remember correctly, it was that fight where it was a one-way title fight. Yoel missed weight by 0.2 pounds. Now, the reason why he missed weight by 0.2 pounds is because the commission, after he attempted to make weight, said, we don't want him cutting any more weight. Not even 0.2. They didn't want to allow him to do even 0.2. Why? They said that it's for his health, it's dangerous at his age, etc. He was maybe 41 at the time or 40 years old at the time. They said, we're not going to let him even cut 0.2 pounds. So we're going to make it a one-way title fight. I think it's crazy. We all thought it was crazy. They could have waited half an hour. He would have lost 0.2 pounds. He didn't even have to cut anymore. However, the commission made his decision. It was a one-way title fight. But in my opinion, he probably had a very hard time making weight. And the first 10 minutes, he let it go because he can only fight for 15. That's my whole point here. Is Yoel Romero is he's a time bomb. He's explosive. He's a brilliant fighter. He's one of the greatest wrestlers ever to do MMA, ever. He's wrestled the who's who of wrestling. Okay, he's wrestled for Olympic gold. He's won silver. He's won world championships in wrestling. He's wrestled Saitiev. Saitiev is arguably the greatest wrestler of all time. You know, he lost to Saitiev, but regardless, he's still up there competing with the greatest wrestlers of his generation, including one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Now, wrestling is 3 rounds of 2 minutes. Yoel is built for wrestling. This is a 25-minute fight. That's why I'm giving 5 points more to Adesanya. Because Adesanya has proved he can fight for 25 minutes. That's why his fight with Kelvin Gastelum is going to be very different than this fight. In my opinion, Yoel Romero is one of the greatest fighters ever to step in the octagon. He's a brilliant fighter. However, he's got a killer 15 minutes. We saw it with Paulo Costa. He looked amazing with Paulo Costa. A very neck-and-neck fight. Two very deadly fighters. And Yoel outlasted him, in my opinion. At the end, in round 3, Yoel dominated round 3. He lost round 1 by a hair, according to the judges. Okay, I'm just going to go how the judges saw it. Because it was a very controversial fight. A lot of people thought Yoel won. According to the judges, Romero lost round 1, he lost round 2, and then round 3 he won it. Okay, there's no question that he won round 3. How did he win round 3? He was very intelligent. He kind of put the brakes on the fight. He circled. He was even at one point kind of like when he got hurt. For those of you who didn't see the fight, Paulo Costa hurts Yoel. And then Yoel's kind of wobbly and he points to the ground. He's like, hey, look at it over there. And then he tried to sucker punches Costa. Of course, you know, nothing illegal. The referee wasn't involved. He was just kind of like, he's using every trick in the book. Yoel Romero uses every trick in the book to control the pace of the fight. It's not going to work on Adesanya. Adesanya has nearly 100 fights. I believe he actually has 100 fights. He's got like 70 plus kickboxing fights and about 20 MMA fights or 20 plus MMA fights. He's close to 100 fights. I'm sure he has amateur fights. He's over 100. If you're going to count his amateur career and all that, he's got over 100 fights. He's not going to fall for those kind of things. Now, we saw Yoel Romero versus Luke Rockhold. We all remember the incredible power he can generate. Yes, he can knock out Adesanya. Adesanya has been knocked out in his career. He's got a phenomenal chin, but it's possible. We know it's possible. Any human can be knocked out. It's possible. And if anybody's going to knock you out, if it's possible, then Yoel Romero can do it. Can Yoel finish Adesanya? I'm going to say yes, it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen. Can he outdo him in 25 minutes? Yes, but I don't think it's going to happen. That's why I'm picking Adesanya, because there's going to be 25 minutes of fighting. He won't be able to do what he did with Whitaker. Stall for 10 minutes. Adesanya will pick him apart. Adesanya has a much longer reach. He won't allow that. I highly doubt Adesanya will allow that. If he tries to control the pace, if he tries to slow the fight down, he's going to start falling behind and losing to Adesanya. Now, I know a lot of you are going to bring up the wrestling. Yeah, but coach, he can take down Adesanya. Show me one fight where Yoel Romero gets on top in a fight, controls the fight, beats the guy down, keeps taking him down, keeps holding him down for a large portion of the fight. It's never really happened. Maybe with Jacare a little bit. But he hit Jacare with a back fist and hurt him. It can happen. He'd have to hurt Adesanya. Adesanya is going to be too good in jiu-jitsu. He's going to scramble too much. He's going to get back to his feet. It's going to be hard to control Adesanya on the ground for a considerable portion of the fight. It can happen, but he's going to have to hurt Adesanya for it to happen. My point being, guys, is because this is a 25-minute fight, I'm liking Adesanya. I think Adesanya's volume is going to be way too much. He's not going to allow Yoel to slow the fight down, and Yoel needs to slow the fight down. He needs to slow the fight down, then explode. Slow the fight down, then explode. That's his style. He's kind of a Mike Tyson. This is not a negative. I'm just kind of pointing out his style. Mike Tyson was that kind of fighter, right? He would kind of like spray punches at you, recover, spray punches at you, recover. He wasn't the type of fighter that stalks you nonstop and kind of like keeps a steady pace. When Yoel Romero is taking a break, when he's slowing the pace down, Adesanya is going to be all over him. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor. Can Yoel win? Absolutely. He can beat any man in the world. And I think he could win fights at 205. I think maybe if he went up to 205, it would maybe be the best thing in his career. Who knows? But the fact that he's making 185, which I think the weight cut's going to be very tough. And then he's going to fight 25 minutes with a guy who won't let him control the pace. He's seen you do these kind of things, and he ain't going to allow it this time around. And that's why I'm giving it to Adesanya. Now, guys, I'm opening it up to you. I'm reading your comments and questions. I don't want this to be a one-way breakdown. Let me know your thoughts. Who's going to win and why? All right, here we go. Romero murdered Lyoto on the ground. That's from Dylan Herbert. Dylan, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. I did forget about the Lyoto fight. If you didn't see that fight, it was the Romero show. I think it was 1 round. You're right. Lyoto didn't look like himself. He didn't, because Lyoto has very good jiu-jitsu. For those of you who are not familiar with Lyoto's career, because I've been following him his entire career. Okay, he's got submission wins. He's a black belt on the ground. He's a very good wrestler. He actually started in sumo wrestling. His jiu-jitsu is excellent. He's Brazilian, for goodness sake. You know, he's half Japanese, half Brazilian. His jiu-jitsu is A+. He got mauled by Romero. That's a good point. That is a very good point. I forgot about that fight. But you know what? I feel like something was wrong with Machida that day because he didn't fight well. Okay, that was really one of Machida's worst fights. Again, he was fighting Yoel Romero. Was it the Romero factor? You know, was he just too big, too strong, too explosive? It could be the case. You could be right. I guess we'll find out on March 7th. Adesanya gets taken down or partially taken down. He's a scrambler, man. He's got a lot of scrambling in him, and his jiu-jitsu is good. He reversed Gastelum. Remember, he reversed Gastelum, threw up a triangle. He was really busy from his back, and actually Gastelum also reversed him. It was a seesaw battle. Listen, I think he's just a great scrambler. I think he's gonna have a hard time, Yoel. It's possible. Who dominates the clinch? That's from Eric Argent. That is a great question. Look, Yoel can throw Adesanya for sure. And he can hurt him with the throw. He could slam him. But it's going to cost him a lot of gigawatts. It's going to cost him a lot of energy. If he doesn't hurt him with the throw, and I feel that Adesanya is going to tumble beautifully. He's going to roll really well. He's not going to get slammed. It could happen. Don't get me wrong. It could. But jiu-jitsu guys, a lot of times they roll and they land in a really soft way. And you're just wasting your energy trying to do that. You're just burning yourself out. If they scramble back to their feet after a very explosive maneuver by Yoel, Yoel can be in a lot of trouble. So you look at his fight when he fought Paulo Costa. In the last round, he double-legged Paulo Costa at the end of the round. Now, let me ask you this. Why did he do it in the middle of the round or in the early part of the round? If you could take Paulo Costa down, which he can, listen, he's got one of the best double legs in the world. He didn't do it because it cost a lot of energy. It was near the end. He's like, you know what? Let me explode. Let me get the double leg. Let me bank in this round. It's a close fight. I'll win with a double leg. A lot of fighters do this just because they're too tired to continue. And they couldn't do it in the middle of the round, or they couldn't do it in the middle of the fight because they're too scared that if I don't capitalize with this double leg, if I don't recover, if I get this guy down and this guy scrambles back up to his feet and I don't get that time to recover by staying on top of him and just catching my breath, that double leg now is a liability. Me shooting that double leg actually backfired. It does happen in fights. People forget that. Be sure to check out my instructional on the dynamic butterfly guard. In this instructional, I review how to recognize the positive and negative side, which is the initial side you always want to sweep on. Common counters to your opponent's reactions. To common reactions you'll see when you use these butterfly guard attacks. I also show in this video how to use the power slide and power stack to generate a tremendous amount of force to launch your opponent in the air when you are in the butterfly guard. I also cover very key important follow-up guards that connect very well with the butterfly guard. Make sure to pick up this DVD if you want to increase your bottom game. The butterfly guard is a key ingredient to a bottom game player, and make sure you tune in and check it out.